Okay, stop scrolling for 1 second. I want to show you something that genuinely caught me off guard, and I cover cameras for a living, so that doesn't happen often. A brand new Pocket camera just launched, and within 48 hours of the specs going public, it was the single most talked about camera release of the year, not just in the creator community, everywhere. And here's the part that nobody saw coming. It wasn't from DJI. Welcome back. If you're new here, this channel is where we talk cameras the way creators actually think about them. Not spec sheets, not laboratory scores, but real-world impact on the footage you're actually making. And today we are talking about the Insta360 Luna Ultra. And I want to be completely upfront with you before we go any further. This video is based on pre-release specs, early hands-on footage from creators who got access ahead of launch, and verified manufacturer information. Where something is still unconfirmed, I will tell you. I'm not going to sit here and make things up just to sound confident. But here is what I can tell you with absolute certainty. The camera community has not been this divided, this excited, and honestly, this nervous about a product launch in years. Because this isn't just another camera. This is a direct surgical challenge to the company that built the Pocket camera category, DJI, and it's the most serious one we've ever seen. So, if you're planning to spend money on a Pocket camera in the next 12 months, you genuinely cannot afford to miss what we're about to break down. Stay with me. The DJI Era, how we got here. To understand why the Luna Ultra is such a big deal, you need to appreciate how total DJI's dominance has been in this space. And I mean total. There was no real competition. It wasn't even a close race. When DJI launched the original Pocket series, they didn't just release a good camera. They genuinely changed what creators thought was possible from a device you could slip into a jacket pocket. Gimbals stabilized footage, effortless subject tracking, color science that professionals actually trusted, battery life that didn't embarrass itself. They checked every box that mattered to travel creators, vloggers, documentary filmmakers, and solo content creators all at once. It was one of those rare product launches where the reaction wasn't nice option, it was this is the only option. And that dominance lasted for years. DJI stayed on top not because they kept pushing boundaries aggressively, but because nobody else showed up seriously enough to force them to. Small updates got packaged as major releases. Minor sensor improvements got marketed as generational leaps. The Pocket line got refined, but it didn't get revolutionized. And here's the thing about comfortable dominance, it creates a very specific kind of blind spot. When you've won the market for long enough, you stop asking, what are we not doing? And start asking, how do we protect what we already built? That's a very different question. And the answer it leads to is almost always slow, safe, incremental progress. DJI fell into exactly that pattern. And Insta360, who had been watching very carefully, saw the opening. Now here's what I need you to understand before we get into the Luna Ultra itself, because we are about to go through 5 specific features that each individually would make this camera interesting. But Together they paint a picture of a company that didn't just make a good camera, they made a strategic argument. And by the time we get to feature number 4, you're going to understand exactly why DJI scrambled to fast-track the Pocket 4 Pro announcement. Don't go anywhere, the detachable screen alone will completely change how you think about solo filming. The detachable screen. Let's start with the feature that made the creator community lose their minds first. The detachable screen. And I want you to set aside everything you think you know about flip screens or articulating displays, because this is something genuinely different. The Luna Ultra's display doesn't just tilt or rotate. It physically detaches from the camera body entirely. And the moment it leaves the camera, it doesn't become a dead accessory you awkwardly hold in your other hand. It becomes a fully functional wireless monitor and a gimbal controller at the same time. Think about what that actually means in the field. You're a solo travel creator shooting in a busy city square. You want the camera mounted on a small tripod about 3 meters away, tilted slightly upward, capturing you walking into frame with a cathedral behind you. Normally, you have 2 options. You either guess the framing and hope for the best, or you pull out your phone, open an app, fight with Bluetooth connectivity, and by the time everything is working, you've lost the lighting or the crowd has shifted. With the Luna Ultra, you detach the screen, hold it in one hand, and you have a live feed of exactly what the camera sees. You can adjust the gimbal's direction in real time. You can change the framing. You can hit record, all while standing exactly where you need to be in the shot. It's the kind of workflow solution that sounds obvious once you see it, but nobody else thought to build it. Or think about interview setups. Normally, a two-camera solo interview, where you're both the interviewer and the subject, requires either a crew member or a frustrating amount of guessing and reviewing. With a detached screen on your lap, you're monitoring yourself in frame while the conversation happens naturally. That's not a gimmick. That's an actual, meaningful improvement to how solo creators work, and it's a gap DJI has never addressed. The Leica optics. Now let's talk about the imaging system, because this is where the Luna Ultra stops being a clever gadget and starts being a serious camera. Insta360 partnered with Leica for the optical and imaging pipeline, and if that name doesn't immediately mean something to you, here's the quick version. Leica has been making lenses and cameras since 1869. Their optics have been trusted by photojournalists, portrait photographers, and cinema professionals for over a century. When Leica puts their name on a product, they're not doing it for marketing reasons. They have a strict certification process, and their involvement shapes how the image actually looks, not just on paper, but to the human eye. And you can feel it in the early footage. The image character coming out of the Luna Ultra has a quality that's genuinely hard to describe if you've never shot with Leica glass before, but anyone who has will recognize it immediately. Highlights don't clip harshly. When a bright window appears in frame behind a subject, the transition from exposed to overexposed rolls off gradually and naturally, the way film does, instead of suddenly slamming into white the way smartphone-style processing tends to. Shadows hold detail without being artificially lifted or crushed, and skin tones, which are the hardest thing for any camera to get right, actually look like skin. Not overly sharpened, not plasticky, not the waxy artificial texture you see from cameras that process too aggressively. The main sensor is reportedly a 1-inch unit paired with an f1.8 lens. That sensor size is significant in the context of a pocket camera because it directly determines how the camera behaves when the light gets difficult. Dim restaurants, golden hour backlighting, indoor events, overcast rainy days. Smaller sensors panic in those conditions. They add grain, lose detail, flatten color. A 1-inch sensor handles those situations with composure. Combined with Leica's tuning, you have a camera that should produce images that hold up not just on a phone screen, but on a monitor, in an edit, in a graded timeline. That's a very different proposition than what most cameras in this size category offer. The telephoto revolution. All right, we need to talk about the telephoto, because this might be the single biggest structural weakness DJI has left exposed, and the Luna Ultra attacks it directly. Here's a problem that every creator who has ever used a compact gimbal camera knows deeply and painfully. You are always shooting wide. Everything is ultra-wide. You're standing close to everything. Every portrait is slightly distorted at the edges. Every cityscape looks flat. Every performance or event you shoot requires you to physically position yourself uncomfortably close to the action. You have no compression. You have no separation. You have no cinematic distance. Compact gimbal cameras have basically accepted this as a limitation of the form factor. DJI's Pocket cameras are ultra-wide first by design, and while they've added some digital zoom over the years, digital zoom isn't the same thing. Not even close. Digital zoom is just cropping the existing sensor. You lose resolution. You lose quality. You lose the optical character that makes telephoto footage actually look cinematic. The Luna Ultra changes this with a dedicated telephoto lens system. Early reports suggest focal lengths in the range of 70 to 120 millimeters equivalent, and that range is transformative for how this camera can be used. At 70 medium Miro, portraits begin to compress beautifully. Backgrounds blur naturally. Faces are rendered without distortion. At 100 medium Miro or beyond, you start getting the kind of cinematic separation that used to require a full mirrorless camera with a dedicated prime lens. Subject pops from background. Street scenes gain depth and layering. City lights at night separate into individual specular highlights behind subjects instead of blending into one undifferentiated blur. Think about what this unlocks for travel creators specifically. You're at a street food market. You want to capture the vendor's hands working quickly over a wok, steam rising, action happening fast. With a wide lens, you're in their face, making them uncomfortable, getting in the way of the experience you're trying to capture. With a telephoto, you step back 15 feet, the vendor doesn't even notice you, and you capture a compressed, cinematic shot that feels like it came from a documentary crew. That's not a subtle improvement. That's a completely different type of filmmaking from the same device. The zoom system. Building on that telephoto foundation is a zoom system that deserves its own conversation, because the numbers alone don't tell the full story. It's what the numbers unlock creatively that matters. The Luna Ultra reportedly delivers approximately 3.9x optical zoom, 6x lossless zoom, and 12x hybrid zoom. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Hybrid zoom sounds like marketing language for digital zoom with a better name. And sometimes it is. But when you combine a large sensor with a genuine optical telephoto and add intelligent processing on top, the result is meaningfully different from what you get on cameras that are simply cropping a wide sensor and calling it zoom. What this system means in practice is that you can now choose your relationship with your environment in a way Pocket Camera have never allowed before. You're at a concert. Instead of being a wide-angle camera pressed against the crowd barrier, you can position yourself anywhere in the room and still frame your shot exactly how you want. You're shooting architecture. Instead of fighting with distorted lines from a wide lens up close, you can stand at the ideal distance and let the telephoto render the building's geometry faithfully. You're capturing wildlife or street moments where getting physically close would ruin the shot entirely. Now you simply zoom, frame, and record. The creative agency this gives a solo creator is significant. It's the difference between a camera that forces you to adapt to it and a camera that adapts to how you actually want to shoot. For anyone who has felt constrained by ultra-wide only pocket cameras, which, if you've used one seriously for more than a few months, is almost everyone, this is the feature that makes you sit up and pay attention. 4K at 240 frames per second. And now we arrive at the specification that made people think the press release was a typo. 4K at 240 frames per second. I'm going to say that again because it genuinely deserves a moment. 4,000 pixels of resolution at 240 individual frames captured every single second, inside a device that fits in your jacket pocket. When those specs leaked, the first reaction from most professionals wasn't excitement, it was skepticism. Because 240 frames per second at 4K resolution is something that not long ago required dedicated cinema cameras the size of a shoebox and price tags that started at $10,000. The idea that a stabilized pocket camera could do it seemed, at best, optimistic, and at worst, a marketing number that wouldn't survive real-world testing. But the early hands-on footage is making believers out of skeptics. And if it holds up under rigorous testing, what it means creatively is almost difficult to overstate. Slow motion at this level doesn't just slow things down, it reveals. It transforms ordinary motion into something that feels deliberate, emotional, and cinematic. Rain hitting a puddle becomes a pattern of expanding rings that looks like abstract art. An athlete cutting direction on a field becomes a study in body mechanics and controlled power. A crowd at a market, a waterfall, smoke from a campfire, traffic at night. All of it becomes visual storytelling material when you can slow it down to roughly 1/8 of real time at full 4K resolution. And now, layer the telephoto lens on top of that. Compressed slow motion from a distance. You're not in the face of your subject getting the shot, you're 30 meters away, camera locked on a gimbal, capturing compressed slow motion footage with background separation. At 4K, from a camera that costs a fraction of the cinema gear that used to be the only way to get that look. That combination, telephoto compression plus extreme slow motion at full resolution, is genuinely new territory for cameras in this size and price category. And for creators who work in social media formats where slow motion sequences are among the most watched, most shared types of content, this is not a minor spec update. This is a creative weapon. Who should buy what? So let's be direct about who should actually be looking seriously at the Luna Ultra versus who should stick with the Pocket 4 Pro, because the answer isn't the same for everyone. If you are a travel creator who shoots solo, regularly encounters challenging lighting, wants cinematic variety in your shots, and has felt frustrated by the ultra-wide limitations of pocket cameras, the Luna Ultra looks like it was designed specifically for you. The detachable screen solves the solo operator problem. The telephoto solves the creative range problem. The Leica optics solve the image quality problem. This camera addresses your pain points directly. If you are a vlogger or daily content creator who values simplicity, needs a camera that works reliably the moment you pull it out, and has an existing ecosystem of DJI accessories, stick with the Pocket 4 Pro for now. The Luna Ultra is exciting, but new cameras need a settling period, and your workflow is already working. Don't fix what isn't broken. If you are a professional filmmaker or commercial creator who needs to justify equipment purchases with deliverable quality, wait for the full independent reviews. Wait for the rolling shutter tests, the low-light benchmark comparisons, the battery life testing under real conditions. The Luna Ultra might earn a place in your kit, but earn it. Don't let the hype make that decision for you. And if you are someone who has been sitting on the fence about pocket cameras entirely, someone who felt like the existing options were good but never quite good enough, the Luna Ultra might be the thing that finally tips you in. Because this is genuinely the first camera in this category that doesn't feel like a compromise in multiple directions at once. Call to action. So, where do you stand? Are you switching to the Luna Ultra, or are you staying loyal to DJI? Drop your answer in the comments right now. I read every single one, and this debate is going to be active for a while. If you found this breakdown genuinely useful, hit subscribe, because the moment I get my hands on a full production unit of the Luna Ultra, you are getting the most thorough, honest, real-world test this camera has seen. No hype, no agenda, just footage and truth. You don't want to miss that video. And while you're here, the video right over there breaks down every mistake creators make when buying their first cinema camera. It'll save you a lot of money and a lot of regret. I'll see you in the next one.